Let tradition die. Art was mostly made by old white men, murderous crusaders with dry ideals. When a trans man spreads his legs open, revealing his dick and nuts to a straight man, and the straight man is appalled, that's homophobic. The normies are always the first to draw a slew of hatred. Gross, they say. Nasty, they jeer. Ugh, ugh. I don't want to fuck a man dressed as a lady in the ass, they judge. These old-timer traditionalists are simply missing the new wave. In modern art, or better yet, the futurism era, art must reflect intense aspects of your personal life, such as bedroom activities. You tell me, what's more intimate than our sexual debauchery? The work of Michelangelo has no substance. None. Because he was inspired by vanilla. The deep, demented corners of our mind. That's where you're gonna find the best work. The most dirty, diabolical thoughts we have should be on a public display at an open-air museum. They should be on display at the public mall for children and women alike to enjoy. Especially children. I just threw that in there. If there isn't an artifact for my BDSM doggy fetish assaulting the public eye, I see no challenging statement being made. The only thing worthy of garnering attention is what makes freakish, sick mutants hard. Freakish, sick mutants hard. So, the most nefarious, devious ideas need to be a spectacle. People must be struck with shock, like being hit by a van. Make them hurt. Make their stomach churn in confusion and dismay. The various, gizmos and objects a gay man enjoys inserted in his rectum. Wait, the various, I added the word gizmos. The various instruments in gizmos. The various instruments and gizmos a gay man enjoys inserted into his rectum deserves to be deeply analyzed and pondered by the wits. The most disgusting, graphic fetish we can depict in as public an area as possible. This must be showered in notoriety and award. If a grown, dirty, filthy man aggressively asserts his fetishes on society, we should meet him with fortune and adoration. When I see a dirty, perverted mental patient dedicate his every action and motivation artistically to steamy hot butt sex, the first thing I'm thinking is platform him. We need this guy's voice in the ear of every confused child, guiding them as a diligent traffic conductor safely guides cars through a traffic jam. Modern art needs to encourage gross sex and other troubling causes. We must mend the polarization with art statements. And today, I am deciding to do my part. I have decided I am going to join the art scene. It got windy, now I'm stuck in a tree. I'm a little embarrassed. This isn't my best self. I got too caught up with the art industry and made a few humbling realizations. Upon exposing the community, they've decided to make an example out of me. It's about 40 minutes until this vat reaches its boiling point, so allow me to explain how I got here before I'm fried. Zoom in on the nutsack. Zoom in on the nuts. This guy is tanning his nuts in the sun right now. And there's tons of little kids here too. Let's just look at some guy tanning his nuts on the grass. Because art. Look at this fucking abomination. It's so bad. Oh. Yes, I want my children to look at a statue of porn. Yes, my children should be looking at this lady taking her top off because it's art. Something I enjoy doing a lot is walking through the old parts of town. There's magnificent architecture left here from the crowds of ancestors who dreamt of building a superior tomorrow. You can see each individual structure is not like the other. There's character, style, and deep consideration in every corner of the building. Every pillar is intentional, every arch makes sense. Meticulous details spread along window panes, framing of the foundations, along doorknobs, were formed by someone's patient hand. It's clear that there was a special time where people cared. The decisions were intentional, their artistic vision was deliberate. There's so much beauty to behold in older architecture. And that's why I feel especially ashamed when I think about what I'm surrounded with today. Concrete jungles, blocks of gray, cement streets encased with cement fencing, suffocated with cement bridges, with towering over cement buildings. It's also depressed. So uniform. It reflects the energy of the attire in North Korea. The former is torn down and replaced with some miserable block. Whatever happened to color? Whatever happened to shape? Wherever did the imaginations of our people go? Our nation fought so hard, with hope in our heart. We wanted to build something incredible. We used to dismantle corruption, spit at inferiority. So why now do we succumb to it? Though many treat it as non-essential, art does have power and influence. People are motivated by music, by film, by atmosphere. In many marathons, it's prohibited to wear earphones because music is so impactful, it can motivate people to exceed beyond their natural ability. Films made in America are banned or altered in more authoritarian countries, such as the ending of Fight Club. Instead of the characters blowing up the credit building, the entire country of China edited the ending of the movie to say the character's mission was stopped by the government to, of course, discourage people from having ideals of personal liberation or rebellion against the system. China feels far away, but let's not forget how much our media inflated January 6th. We always see a very leftist political agenda being propagated. So it's my argument that underestimating the value of art is incredibly naive. Your kid could very easily be watching a seemingly innocent show, slowly ingesting deeply calculated social political tactics. Our society every day grows more accustomed to delusion. We now have most young people casually adopting radical ideologies such as gender identity. A gender is not an identity, and identifying as whatever you'd like could very obviously be dangerous for society. In the name of modern art, we are slowly beginning to identify as other genders, races, animals, ages. There will be so much disorder. The world will be an untamable, unnatural disaster. So I say, it's time we take art more seriously. The lights and the water were shut off at my place, and then I was kicked to the curb. I needed money, fast, and then I saw it. The perfect way to make it big with the least amount of effort possible. Oh no, golf carts, if we get yelled at. Shit, we didn't get yelled at. I'm doing interpretive dance. I'm an art student in New York. Setting. New York. I'm changing my name. My old identity reminds me of being molested, so I have to change my new name. My new name is Maggie Glitterstein. This is my application for the New York Art Institute. This is me doing interpretive dance. And now it's sad. I was molested. And now I'm sad. Wait, I don't have the balance yet. I'm not like the other girls. I smell bad. Wait, I gotta do my dance. I'm just waiting for bigger crowds, actually. The world is my stage, and that is why I'm in the most populous area of the entire city. As a true artist, you would know you need to perform with zero shame. As an artist, you shouldn't have shame. That's why we're here sacrificing the last of our dignity. This is called the crouching tiger. And then this is called the hacky sack. And this is called the clap. Shit, all right. Yeah, we're getting into it now. Heel toe, heel toe. All right. This is called My Father Doesn't Love Me. And now I'm paying a lot of money to go to a school that won't teach me skill sets for later in life. So I could have mental breakdowns and harass my coworkers and make everyone's life a living fucking hell in every environment that I'm in. The grocery store, the bus stop, because I don't drive. Any online forum, everyone has to suffer now. Everyone's like avoiding walking into the shop. No one wants to be seen with me. Ting, ting. These are Eastern bells. I learned this through my travels in India. Ting, ting. I'm a real fan of cultures that aren't my own. Ting. Anything but what reminds me of my dad. Ting. I like the smell of shit in the streets and curry. The shit particles in India got in my brain and formed it different. The chemicals have melted it into a shape that it wasn't naturally shaped. That's why I'm applying for a New York art school. The shit particles and strong spices of India have fucking fused my left and right lobes. And now I suddenly have a knack for painting 2 dots in a line on a canvas and calling it art. All right, this is called This is called My Dad Never Loved Me. And oi, thank you. Thank you. Show up to my art show. Just kidding, you've just shown up. That was a part of the act. That was scripted. I intended for that to happen. You guys just don't get the new art wave. Yes, all is going to plan.
That makes it a recording. Oh, it is. Good.
Good. Ah, shit. If I lost the audio for that, I would have been really sad. I don't know what's going on in the world anymore, you know? Like, I just feel real lost. I don't have any male figures in my life. I don't have male energy in my life. All my life, I've been subjected to the male energies putting their negative dispositions onto me. And without men, clearly I'm thriving. I'm having manic episodes every day and I don't know why. I take 14 different medications and mix them with my alcohol and weed habit because men were oppressing me. Before my father, I didn't put this shit on my face. Before my father, I wasn't artistic. Before my father, I had long hair and I looked passable. But now I'm a mid, compensating with a lot of paint. You just keep slamming it on, hoping that it will cover the demons inside. Look at that family. Look at that dad with his daughter. It just makes me so angry. I feel angry when I see families together.
Over your head.
Ah! But you're a man, so I don't like you. I'm strong. Look at me, throwing the world's biggest tantrum that lasts a lifetime. Look at that father with his kids. I hate him. I can't stand the sight. I can't freaking stand the sight! I can't freaking stand the sight of other people having a good time. I get so freaking angry. My parents are spending a lot of money on this art school. My parents, who I hate, they're dropping $250,000 on this school. But they hate me. They always put me in a box. They bought me a penthouse in New York. But I hate them. They're the reason I have every problem. My parents, they give me condoms because they're sex positive. My dad was real positive in my childhood. Kaido's face. I'm mad because I was fadoodled, but I'm also like, we should empathize with mature maps, mature attracted what is it? Minority attracted peoples. I'm real angry about that nonsense that happened at the sleepover with my friend. But I'm divided. I'm divided. This is how I feel. I feel like I could rip myself in half. She pulled out her phone, so I wanted to be extra. So I just want to tear myself in half. Though what my uncle did gave me years of therapy and medication, he has a misunderstood sexuality. His tastes are a little taboo. I can't decide. Do I want to be outraged or do I want to protect the pedophiles? I can't decide as an art student. None of us know what to do. This is a total contradiction to our brain. I can't decide if I'm bisexual or bi is homophobic because it implies 2 genders. Frick! This is me abusing myself because I'm angry, I'm divided. This is my art statement. Inside out, I'm divided. I'm just gonna do this 10 more times. 1, 2, 3. So the pedophiles, are they people? Here's the thing about pedophiles. They have DNA just like us. They have one hand and another hand just like us. We both have hands. So we need to respect each other. We are all the same. We are all one. We are all connected. See this? This is you. This is a pedophile. You have to understand that you're cut from the same cloth. You and the pedophile. You are a pedophile. Ever think about that? Yo, I just blew your mind right now. That feeling of dizziness and illness you're feeling, the disgust, that's because your head just exploded from the information I'm honoring you with. You and a pedophile, cut from the same cloth, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You ever think about that? That lady looked mad. You ever think about that? You are the same thing. You're out here getting angry, beating your chest, getting mad, grr, but you can't see your reflection staring back at you, craving that 8-year-old. That's you. You are the problem. The problem sometimes is the solution. So you are the solution. We need to accept pedophiles, in short. That's literally the whole reason I do any of this. This is the whole reason I do art school. The whole reason I get up and breathe every day. I get up and breathe to fucking degrade this world into a fucking the hunk of iron, the hunk of useless iron floating through a dark void that it is. I come here to destroy what everyone has built because I work for Satan's kingdom. This is slam poem. Everyone who does not like my style, they're ignoring their inner child. They weren't fiddled as a kid in a while because deep down, we're all just one big pedophile. Slam poem. Why can't you look at perspective from my angle? These inner demons you seem to wrangle. But the lusts in your head, they swing and dangle. I don't want to say that in front of a kid. Pedophiles, they're just really angels. That guy's face, a guy just blinked in disbelief. Guy Fieri, I'm your biggest fan. Look at that guy's hat. He has a living room poof on his head. Nice hat. Nice hat, bro. It looks like you're wearing a living room poof. He didn't stop for me. Even the weird guy found me weird. You must be an artist. What statement about racism are you making with that poof on your head? I see you're a person of color. So what statement are you making with that on your head about BLM? I see your skin has pigment. What marches have you been in recently? I feel the paint mixing with the sweat and it's creating a new art. Isn't that beautiful? Human plus paint. We're all one. We work together. Just like the pedophiles in us. We're all one. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? You, the audience. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, I know you agree. I seen the smile on your face. Here, I'll turn this way. I'm gonna get someone's reactions on this. Doing a dance, doing a dance. Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Yes, he agrees that pedophiles and us are one. Hello. He said yes. You heard it here, folks. That guy supports pedophilia. Yes, we're dancing together. Hey, hey, hey! I like his moves. I'm getting catcalled. That guy catcalled me. He finds me sensual. When any kind of person has human interaction with me, I just start to get PTSD. You know, I try to do sex on him, but as soon as somebody give me a compliment, I feel like they're raping me. When you say nice hair, that's actually rape. When people say nice hair, they're actually taking advantage of me. If someone compliments my outfit, I feel like they're taking my clothes off. They're looking at my body. When guys say nice things about my outfit, they want to rape me. Rape! That's all that's on their mind. Men have one thing on their mind, and that is vicious rape. And that is my application in the New York Art School.
I miss when you all were ashamed. It was a lot better when you hid in the shadows. Because now I have to see your erect cock and cock accessories alike on display at the public park. This isn't art, but an obvious sexual addiction. When your every move and all aspects of your identity need to reflect fetish, Clearly, you have a problem. These artists don't need notoriety. They need therapy or jail time. We used to have a culture that encouraged modesty. Back then, it would be horrible and abnormal to have grotesque, dirty depictions of unflattering or overtly hideous aspects of life. The appeal of modern art appears to be shock value, a competition to see who could be the most gross. A lot of it lacks technical skill or lacks cohesion. They use ugly shades of piss yellow and poop brown with childlike scribbling of hairy pussies and balls. I couldn't tell you how many times I walked into museums and found bafflingly terrible art. I feel like they've likely just stuck a pencil between their ass cheeks and shimmied their hips into the form of whatever ugly lame shit was on their mind. There's a lot of fetish or minority praise or demonic nonsense. And that's really been it lately. I find myself going back to the same old Van Gogh and Monet paintings over and over because my heart and soul crave real art desperately. In older art, there's craftsmanship, intention, care. Unlike now, where the only thing anyone cares about is themselves. Needing representation anywhere you walk isn't art. It's narcissism. The woke are essentially admitting they must see their reflection every 10 steps. I've never once walked into an art museum and expected to see an exhibition dedicated to multiple portrayals of myself. We will forever be subjected to blue-haired, ugly, fat people's every angle of flab and pubes so long as the world is cowardly and pretends to themselves that hideousness is visually flattering. This is yet another consequence of politicizing art. And so, society silently compromises beauty at the detriment of superior art. And deliberately slapping art onto something is a form of defense. So when someone is criticizing your shit art that also happens to be attached to your gay fetish, immediately they claim you're being homophobic. Being gay is an invincibility shield from reaching the realization that your work is uninspired and mediocre. If I wanted to be a well-off artist, I'd mention my mixed race, my gender, praise minorities, and love the gays. Because art is no longer about the quality of your work or the skill of your mind, but the crowd of brown, gay people you meander with. But just why is their art so bad? There's been a cultural, or more so uncultural, shift. The people who now regulate cultural norms and rules happen to be child molester, narcissist, deviant villains. Art is fascinating because it reflects our soul. And the reason walking into a modern art museum makes you fucking sick is because you're quite literally peering into the souls of demons. The kind of people creating art now are foul, and that directly translates into whatever they touch. Matthew 17 says, "Beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but every bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them." The fruits being produced by modern artists is very telling. Some of the more appalling examples that came to mind are the artworks in Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, the scandal with Balenciaga, or the more recent naked child in a suitcase in Jamie Lee Curtis's house. To the world, these may appear to be a bountiful, ripe harvest, but I know a rotted fruit when I smell one. If your definition of art is glamorizing child endangerment or encouraging child sexual exploitation, then I don't really care to respect your incompetent ideas. I don't really give a flying flamin' shit about anything that comes out of your mouth, actually. The only thing that concerns me regarding you is how much of a threat you are to kindergarteners in your area. Oh, fuck. I've run out of time. The oil's done heating up. What am I gonna do? Ow. Hey, wait. There's supplies up here. My brain! Art needs a muse. Art has often been inspired by religion. Being inspired by God can only bring out the best realms of imagination. However, the fault of today is that most people bow at the altar of obese anger issues bombs. I wrote this real inappropriate, and there's a lot of kids here.
But it's okay, they don't speak English. It was so much nicer when they idolized God, because they'd love their family, they'd love others, and produce well-made work. It's obvious now that they idolize a bunch of fat, angry criminals because their actions reflect such. The leaders of BLM are praised and showered with many offerings. Art dedicated to the cause in every museum. And just like attacking gay art makes you a homophobe, attacking BLM makes you a racist. But the issue is, BLM isn't just an innocent civil rights movement. They are a politically Marxist organization that calls for the dismantling of society. A Marxist believes the mantra, take what you want by force. And now we have a bunch of unapologetic men and women breaking into stores, breaking into cars, stealing whatever they want when they want. So every time I see a new statue of a raised fist or George Floyd erect, I can't help but see the mentality of disorderly, bad attitude savages running rampant, destroying the city. Art is training people to behave without morality or reverence to peace and order. It's also politically attached. Art and the voice pieces that speak into artists today. And then those artists in modern music, movies, etc. then speak into the rest of the world. I think you and I have both seen it. You can't watch a Netflix show or any other kind of media without hearing some sort of interjection about how the white race is evil. Or you can't listen to any song that's released recently without hearing about loose sex or animalistic mentality. Our coherent, educated civil society is being degraded into a lazy, selfish, undisciplined society. We are all being carefully programmed into monsters. So a good question to wonder is, why? Well, there's more nefarious evil at work. Through their political power, the elites subject us to wicked art and brainwash the people under them into deluded ideas of seeking comfort and seeking pleasure. Winston Churchill tried to warn us about pacification in the West during his Sinews of Peace speech. In his speech, he famously draws the image of an iron curtain dividing the mentality of democracy and communism at the time. Churchill said, "Never have we and they been closer together, more alike and akin, than at this moment when the war's cruelties and recriminations, war's monstrous iron curtain, cut us off so utterly from one another." This speech was given as a warning as to what created the World War. Churchill specifically used the word pacification to describe the softening of society. No thing under the sun is new. They've done it before, and they're doing it again now. As I speak, our people are being weakened, so that Russia or China, or at least that mentality, to occupy the Western world to spread totalitarianism. I assume so that the elites can degrade strength and implement weakness, to make us more malleable and compliant to yield at their word, and then to also be subservient to their icky reign. Not only has the goal always been to destroy Western democracy, but to totally disseminate human freedom.
Behind me is a fine piece of architecture, wouldn't you agree? They don't make them like this anymore. Saying art can be anything is essentially the same tired argument as the gender, race, species theory. Simply stating something doesn't make it manifest into reality. There are objective units of measurement that can prove reality. Because if anything is art, then a homeless man can just crouch in the streets and take a steamy shit. And the greats should analyze the symbolic depth of the clouds permeating off his dung. How many abominations must we allow in the name of art? This has been the most deceptive time in mankind. If people can make believe a gender social, argue that taking experimental chemicals is health, and claim that BDSM with children is simply art, then how much more are the wicked going to manifest conveniently to excuse their wicked practices? There needs to be a point where we align with reality. The rejection of objectivity will be one of our greatest downfalls. So now, I make the argument that many spectators and artists have cringed at alike. But someone needs to say it. And what better someone to say something that nobody wants to hear than yours truly? There is objectively good in objectively bad art. When I say the word beauty, what comes to mind? A lush garden, a mine of gemstones, a soldier coming home from war embracing his child. If the word beauty is subjective, then why aren't you picturing maggots and rotting garbage when I say the word? Every definition of every word could be dispelled if we aren't willing to agree that some things have finite meaning and value. To do something artistically implies creativity or beauty. Art is a form of expression, and you can fail to convey a message, or lack the technical skills to depict a feeling or make a statement. Good art requires creative intellect. Therefore, not everyone who produces art is a good artist. It doesn't matter how good I say I am. You're not going to see my work up next to Vincent van Gogh simply because I say I'm a master. So when I see smut on TV or hear explicit, profane lyrics and music, I can say safely, it's bad. Hearing fat whore Cardi B talk about her wet-ass pussy doesn't light a candle to Mozart. The outraged violence, blatant pornography, etc. are not art, yet another way to degrade society. Speaking of shit music, the collective health of the West has shrunken down into a fraction of what it used to be. It should be obvious that we're being poisoned. I shouldn't have to argue that there's nothing creatively intelligent about a naked child crying in a suitcase. There's no question that a group of idiot women painting with their period blood is anything less than eye rot. But here we stand. What's most stupid to me is that both the artists and the spectators realize what they're doing is not art. And yet, there those pretentious pretenders stand haughtily in their galleries, using the most decorative jargon their subscription to Cosmopolitan has, hoping that their overly ornamental vocabulary will compensate for the fact that they're analyzing the most dreadful art that humans have seen historically so far. They're so incredibly phony. They'll be probing for the deeper interpretation of the scraggly, untrained paint strokes of a green dick. Oh, the scrutinizing shade of forced green. Oh, is deliberately verdant to stir vexation in the uncultivated barrage of swine who contest the palpable reality of climate change as an obvious verisimilitude. Yes. This stimulating, fearless choice of gloss. The way the light reflects off the shaft of the penile and transcendent glaze jutting out of the seminal vesicle. So obviously reminisces time where fresh water sprang forth luminously from the mountains until it was so negligently obliterated, decimated, eradicated, annihilated, exterminated, extirpated by imperceptive fools who deny climate change. Anywho, as time goes on, I see men growing weaker. Watching Destiny, Bankman, and Andrew Tate justify why they need polyamorous relationships doesn't inspire my confidence. So long as art panders to gratifying our every other lame carnal desire, we will never evolve. Modern art is just an excuse to settle into our worst form. And it's not enough that we refuse discipline or opportunity to develop skills, but also are entitled to celebration too. Congratulations, you fat sack of shit good for nothing loser. You sleeping with your 4 boyfriends dressed as a doggy. That's cool. Super of you. Super king gentleman who has gay poopy diapers flair. Good on you. Your father may have not been impressed, but this society of dirt flies nominates you king and emperor of the universe. So keep being terrible. You win. But yeah, if I ever became loved by the mainstream, I'd be concerned. When the masses nominate you their kingpin, or more so king pig more like, usually they're somehow outstandingly disgraceful. But what does disgrace mean to a world that encourages shameless abomination? So long as we continually refuse the prospect of objectively bad art, we will never see the cure. But I'm not going to live in a dirt fly universe, because I'd much rather process reality. And that gives me the confidence to say, I have objectively good taste in art, and I say, I'm tired of this ugly, cringy, dull refuse the world tries to assert on us as creative or interesting. It's bad, and I'm done pretending it's not. I don't know if I'm gonna explain this. I don't know if I'm gonna edit this in, but I'm too lazy to go home and change out of the outfit and painstakingly wipe all the paint off, so I'm not doing the bit right now. I go to a lot of art galleries, and they mix the old shit with the new shit. That's how they get you. Because if it was a room filled with their shit, no one would show up. I show up for Monet and get an additional artwork I would rather not have experienced. I go to see water lilies and get dyke legs with jumbo pubic hair. My eyes are never ready for that kind of assault. Now, I've never been raped, but I'm starting to understand what it might feel like. Having a massive, throbbing red cock hanging in my face is something I don't think I'll ever accept with grace. I've never appreciated unwarranted dick veins jutting out at me. Some filthy, horny guy is angry grinning at me rock hard. I just walk into any art museum, any modern art museum, and see the gaping genitals of every other citizen in Portland, Oregon. There ought to be a term for something like rape, but not quite as severe. Rape light. Rape light. Going into a modern art museum is like a light rape. It's like a mild rape. You're not being touched yet, but the kind of psychological repercussion it will distort. It will unravel and re-ravel wiring in the wrong areas. I went to an art museum in Japan recently, and I was looking at various historical pieces. At the top floor, there's years of rich culture, excellently designed for centuries by creative intellects. And then I go 2 floors down and see crabby dykes with their pants off. And of course, the people who run the galleries are either rich people who money launder or rich people human trafficking, or rich people money laundering and human trafficking. And the galleries are always run by their mentally dissolved child. They're always some androgynous Winona Ryder, wild eyes mess. They've so obviously been molested by every adult in their childhood. Whenever their parents sold a white canvas with a single dot in the middle for $40,000, you know it's their daughter's virginity. It may sound cruel to say, but if my words make you uncomfortable, consider that it's based on a true story. Anyway, the manager of the art gallery is always some pill-reliant, non-sentient rock. They pop Zoloft and Xanax like Hungry Hippo. So naturally, it's always a pain fucking walking into their galleries. I get real nervous when they do wine tasting events. I'm Google searching how to do CPR on the side in case they undergo heart attack mixing their 8th drink with a handful of meds. They're so wrecked, they can't move unless their body is practically overdosing. And somehow they always navigate toward me. As though they sense I'm not vibrating on the new dimension they've created through drugs. I can see in their facial structure. They're not a compatible phenotype. We only look at each other and we both know we fucking hate each other. And because of it, immediately, they're forcing their conversations about gay sex on me. You know, testing the waters, waiting for me to validate the part of their mind, screaming that I am their enemy. It's like a tolerance test. You start off in the minor leagues. Conversationally, they mention their pronouns. I, of course, to their chagrin, ignore calling them anything. That way I don't have to be the bad guy or enable them. And then they see that, get annoyed, and turn up the heat. So then they mention their same-sex partner. And this is generally my tipping point. I generally escort myself to the next room because the final phase undoubtedly leads to them talking about being gay pounded in the rectum. I only know this because I've been tripped up before. They can only have so many party fouls until I lose my marbles. I at least sometimes try to be nice and fight off the violent bots. Maybe they'll mention gay marriage and I grimace. But when they get graphic, I can't help but get into a debacle. Next thing I know, I'm having a half-hour argument about trans people raping women in restrooms. I'm not sure if anyone else has felt this way, but I feel uncomfortable as soon as I walk through the door. They all got glasses frames 5 sizes too big or too small, and they got weird haircuts. I'm just trying to relax, watching water lilies, but the nightmare ghouls are making the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I'm just here trying to get in the artist's mind, but it's not easy when literally Satan is causing me emotional strife. The whole atmosphere is rigid. They're usually like
intently watching you, like prison guards or starving hyenas. I don't know what they think I'll be doing other than like not agreeing with their opinion in my head. But somehow always, I am their unwilling adversary. I came to like view art, yet somehow I get entangled in their plot. Anyway, I don't even know how this correlates to modern art. I just needed a vent. I just needed a vent and get that out. I feel better now. I didn't write a conclusion. All right, that's all. It's artistic. This ending is up to interpretation. All right, we're done. For too long, we've allowed just anyone to announce just anything as an interpretation of beauty. The most uncreative losers of society have had a stronghold on what is deemed beautiful. The most detestable have hijacked the realm of art. But I say, it's time to take art back. Why the hell did we give away creative authority to fat, gay mental patients anyway? No wonder modern art sucks. It's a bunch of chunky, stinky pedophiles pioneering it. I've heard artists complain, "Oh, I can't break through the mainstream because I'm not a leftist. I will never be in galleries." Or, "My music will never sell because I'm not gay." But to me, these are excuses. Why are we looking at their platforms wanting to break through? It's time we create media of our own, systems that honor our beliefs and follow our principles. Even with the nuclear meltdown in the big leagues right now, there's still plenty of good art. This likely sounds dramatic, but I mean it when I say Gavin McInnes is a visionary and an artist. Don't let his crass speech allow you to undervalue his creative intellect. He created his own damn website because he was tired of complying with a very vile, dirty, and incredibly narrow agenda. Another prominent, undervalued artist to me, everyone already knows what I'm about to say, Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde is special because he migrated from wicked lame TV and wicked lame internet to create completely uncontrolled, unregulated art. What he produces is a luxury and it's completely one of a kind. It is, at least to me, the best form of modern art available right now. And his little minions who make the Mondo NTFs or their own music are also worth attention. Shout out 𝓛𝓸𝓽𝓾𝓼. There are too many niche, underestimated areas of society to find quality art. Rather than lending a crowd of talentless pedophiles our attention, we should direct our love to the skilled people who actually deserve it. And I think now, more than ever before, is the time to establish ourselves as artists, or at least support the artists we love, before they outlaw that too. If we continue to allow anyone against the narrative to be cast as a leper, they will die away unrespected and the world will be left with mediocrity. A healthy society needs great art. This is the easiest time to be a millionaire, to become an influence, to become an artist who actually makes worthwhile art. So, what's the excuse? Let the flies gatekeep their poop. Why are we concerning ourselves with infiltrating a kingdom of manure? Let them waste their energy guarding what has no value. Meanwhile, we establish the greatest masterpieces this world has seen. A true artist doesn't lose their mind over trends, burn hours pandering to a political ideology, or waste energy creating insincere woke messages. An artist makes what they know is creatively excellent regardless of outer opinion. Because if they really are skilled and gifted, they understand they have professional leverage over the sterile masses. A master knows only they are capable of generating the work they can. Creation is the whole appeal of an artist. They make something from nothing. And so long as an artist is looking to see who's doing what to their left, right, and behind, they'll never be capable of producing work that lurches forward, that challenges society, that evolves humanity into something greater. Artists set the tone of tomorrow. They decide the standard at which the world will move along with. Artists aren't cowards that cater to crowds. They're assertive leaders. It's time to take back art. It's time to make art beautiful again. Not only beautiful, but more marvelous, more thought-provoking, more transformative to mankind than ever before. I challenge you, artists, to invent that new world. And maybe we might just see that revival I think we all hope for in our hearts. God bless you, stay superior, and as always, keep fighting the miserable fight.
Let tradition die.
Let tradition die.
I'm a little embarrassed. This is not my best self.
I'm a little embarrassed. This isn't my best self.
Saying art can be anything is essentially the same argument.
Saying art can be anything is essentially the same tired argument.
For too long, we've allowed just anyone to announce.
For too long, we've allowed just anyone to announce just anything as an interpretation of beauty.